Hello students, today we will be going over 4.4, solving equations by clearing fractions. So our objective, I can solve multi-step equations with integer solutions, also with fraction solutions, identifying special solutions. So we're going to multiply all terms in the equation by the least common denominator. Each denominator will divide into its multiple. Then solve the equation without fractions. Okay, so as you can see, there's two problems here that show step by step what to do to solve the problem. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it on page 84, and you're going to solve some problems with me. So turn your page over to page 84. First thing we want to do is clear the fractions, and I look at the denominator and I say, what is the denominators? Here, these aren't fractions. This is the only fraction. So what you do is multiply both sides using the multiplicative property of equality. We're going to multiply both sides by the denominator. So this is the denominator or bottom number of the fraction. So I'm going to multiply that by 10, and I'm going to multiply this by 10. So when I multiply that by 10, I get negative 10r plus 10 equals, now this will cancel out with that and I will be left with 3. Then I solve for r like normal, minus 10 here, minus 10 here. So negative 10r, I should put a line down the equal sign, equals negative 7. 3 minus 10 is negative 7. Then I divide by negative 10, and I'm running out of room here. So r equals 7/10. See, so your solution can be a fraction, but it made it a lot easier so I didn't have to deal with a fraction by multiplying by the denominator there. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Over here, here's the two fractions. Both of them have a denominator of 3. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Okay, that will get rid of the denominator there, so it's left with negative 80 over there. And this goes 3 times negative 2 is negative 6r plus 3 times, that's got a denominator of 3. I can cancel that out. So we end up with negative 6r plus 16 equals negative 80. Then I just solve it normally, and I go minus 16 here, minus 16 there. Then I say negative 6r, because that goes away, equals negative 80 minus 16, negative 96. Divide by negative 6, and we get r equals 16. And we're done. And again, multiplying by the denominator on both sides, it's a nice, easier problem to solve. Okay. Now you might ask, what if we have different denominators? 4, 3, 4 for number 3. Well, we just find the least common multiple of 3 and 4. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, 8, 12. So 12 would be a common denominator. So we're going to multiply both sides by 12. Now what that does, I cancel out the 4 and it equals 1, and 4 goes into 12 3 times. So then I go 3 times 13. Are you guys able to see that okay? So 3 times 13 is 39 equals 12 times 1/3. 12 goes into 3 goes into 12 4 times, so that's going to equal negative 4a. Okay, and then 12 4 goes into 12 3 times, so that's going to be times 3. And this one's going to be times 4. Because that number times this number has to equal 12. That number times that number has to equal 12. And this one, I went ahead and just canceled. There's only 1 here, but here there's 2 terms, so it's a little more complicated. 3 times 11 is 33. Now that's a much easier problem to solve than that other messy one with all the fractions. Next, I'm going to subtract 33 from both sides and just solve for A. So then you get 6 equals negative 4A. Then I divide by the number in front of A. And I never leave a negative on the bottom, so I move it upstairs. And there's your solution. Okay. Next, let's go on to doing a few more problems because I know this is kind of hard for you guys. Okay, so let's go on to number 4. 2/9 times A minus 2 equals negative 44 over 45. Now, we're going to multiply this through 2/9 times, this will be a 1A if nothing's in front of the variable, so that's 2/9 A minus, this is 2 over 1, 2 times 2 is 4/9. Equals negative 44 over 45. Now, the first thing I want to check is to see if the smaller number will go into the larger number. 9 goes into 45 evenly, so we can multiply both sides by 45. Now, if it's the exact same number as the denominator, then we can cancel it out, and we're left with negative 44 on this side. Here, if we multiply by 45, we say 9 goes into 45 5 times, and we have to go 5 times 2 is 10. So we have 10A over here. 9 goes into 45 5 times, and we go 5 times 4, and that is going to be 20. Now, doesn't that look like a much easier problem to solve than your original one? Okay, so 10A minus 20 equals negative 44. Okay, we're going to go add 20 here, add 20 here. 10A equals negative 24, divide by 10, and A equals negative 24 over 10. I'm trying to simplify it. 2 goes into 24, negative 12, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So it equals negative 12 fifths, and it's okay to leave it in improper fraction form like that. Okay? All right. I'm wondering if I don't have a lot of time, so maybe I'll just do number 6 here. Negative 14 fifths plus 7 halves. Okay, the first thing we want to do is get rid of the parentheses and do the distributive property. So I go to negative 14 fifths. Oh, that's a terrible 14. 7 times 17 and 2 times 5, 10 for a denominator. Have my handy dandy calculator, 17 times 7, 119. Plus 7 halves equals 959 over 10. Now I look at the denominators, 5, 10, 2, and 10, and guess what? 10 is a multiple of each of these. So if I multiply each side by 10, that will get rid of all the denominators and all the fractions. So 5 goes into 10 2 times, 2 times 14, negative 28. If it's exactly 10, we just put the number that's on top. Oh, I forgot my K right there. And this 10 times, that 2 goes into 10, 5. 5 times 7 is 35. And that equals 959. Okay. Next, we want to combine like terms. So when we do that, we combine negative 28 and the 35, and we get 7. So I combine these two. There's only one with a K, so we leave that alone. Equals 959. Then we subtract 7. Are you able to see that okay? I'm going to write it over here now. So I get 119K equals 952. Okay, and I'm going to go back over here just for a minute, and I believe I forgot the negative sign right here. So this should be negative 119K equals 952. I divide by negative 119. Take my handy dandy calculator. And that equals negative 8. Okay. All right, let's have everybody try number 5, and I'll come around and see if I can help you with that. You can do this, students. You rock.